Yes. We are reading Bhagwat Geeta as it is by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, founder Acharya of International Society for Krishna Consciousness. We are in chapter 4, text 5. The personality of Godhead said, "Many, many births both you and I have passed, and I can remember all of them, but you cannot, O subduer of the enemy." Let's read the purport. In the Brahma Samhita 5.33, we have information of many, many incarnations of the Lord. It is stated there, in quotes, "I worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead Govinda, who is the original person, absolute, infallible, without beginning. Although expanded into unlimited forms, he is still the same original, the oldest, and the person always appearing as a fresh youth." Such eternal, blissful, all knowing forms of the Lord are usually not understood by even the best Vedic scholars, but they are always manifest to pure, unalloyed devotees. It is also, quotes close, it is also stated in Brahma Samhita, another quotes, "I worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Govinda Krishna, who is always situated in various incarnations such as Ram, Narsimha, and many sub incarnations as well. But who is the original personality of Godhead known as Krishna, and who incarnates personally also?" Yes, let's read the purport. In the Vedas, also it is said that the Lord, although one without a second, manifests himself in innumerable forms. He is like the Vaidurya stone, which changes color, yet still remains one. All those multi-forms are understood by the pure, unalloyed devotees, but not by a simple study of the Vedas. Devotees like Arjun are constant companions of the Lord, and whenever the Lord incarnates, the associate devotees also incarnate in order to serve the Lord in different capacities. So you remember Ram birth when he had taken, when he went, the end of Ramayana is when the Lord himself goes under the water and takes with him all his devotees as well. So it is said in under the water, and they all uh, pass away. They all come to die. So it is always said that when God takes rebirth, he gets his entire Vaikuntha with him on earth. So because everybody wants to serve God, right? So in some way or the other, and they will not leave their God alone in any other space. So what happens? The entire Vaikuntha comes on earth, and everybody takes rebirth, and then so that they can serve the God, and when God leaves, everybody leaves with him. So the three brothers of the God in Ram avatar were the Sheshnag, okay, which was of course Lakshman. Then the Shankh was Bharat, and that chakra. So what is that called? That chakra which he holds like this was Shatrughna, right? So yeah. Arjun is one of these devotees, and in this verse it is understood that some millions of years ago, when Lord Krishna spoke the Bhagavad Gita to sun god Vivashwan, Arjun, in a different capacity, was also present. But the difference between the Lord and Arjun is that the Lord remembered the incident, whereas Arjun could not. That is the difference between the part and parcel living entity and the Supreme Lord. Although Arjuna is addressed herein as the mighty hero who could subdue the enemies. He is unable to recall what had happened in his various past births, right? Therefore, a living entity, however great he may be in the material estimation, can never equal the Supreme Lord. Anyone who is a constant companion of the Lord is certainly a liberated person, but he cannot be equal to the Lord. The Lord is described in the Brahma Samhita as infallible, Achyuta, which means that he never forgets himself, even though he is in a material contact. Therefore, the Lord and the living entity can never be equal in all respects, even if the living entity is as liberated as Arjun. Yes. Although Arjun is a devotee of the Lord, he sometimes forgets the nature of the Lord. But by the divine grace, a devotee can at once understand the infallible condition of the Lord, whereas a non devotee or a demon cannot understand this transcendental nature. Consequently, these descriptions in the Gita cannot be understood by demonic brains. Yes, one second. Hi, Shreya. It's already started. The link is pinned in the WhatsApp group. Oh, acha. Yeah, I'll send you. Okay. One second. There's someone who wants to join. Yes. Krishna remembered acts which were performed by him millions of years before, but Arjun could not, despite the fact that both Krishna and Arjun are eternal in nature. So even now, this Bhishma Pitama, he also remembered that he was so liberated in this material world and so evolved that he could remember his past 100 births. 100 births he could remember. Then when he dies, he comes to the God and he says that why was I given this kind of death where there are so many needles and I was on and so many arrows and I was like made to fall on them and I got pinched, like I got hurt and I died. So God said that in your past 120th birth. So he said, but like what? Like, yeah, you remember only your 100 births. I remember all your births. And in your 120th birth backwards, you killed a snake like this. And that's why in this birth, you got this kind of death. So let's read ahead. We may also note herein that a living entity forgets everything due to his change of body, but the Lord remembers because he does not change. He, Sachitanandan, uh, body, he is Advait, which means that there is no distinction between his body and himself. So, soul and body is one. There is no distinction. Imagine, how is that? It's very difficult to understand. Everything in relation to him is spirit. So many of the Goswamis of ISKCON, they say that the minute you take his name, the name is also him. When we say Hare Krishna, they are here. In the name also they are here. They are present. They say like that. And that's why the mantra Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, they say to recite every day. Everything in relation to him is spirit, whereas the conditioned soul is different from his material body. And because the Lord's body and self are identical, his position is always different from that of the ordinary living entity, even when he descends to the material platform. The demons cannot adjust themselves to this transcendental nature of the Lord. Yes, which the Lord Himself explains in the following verse. Let's move to text 6. Although I am unborn and my transcendental body never deteriorates, and although I am the Lord of all living entities, I still appear in every millennium in my original transcendental form. Yes. Let's read the purport. The Lord has spoken about the peculiarity of his birth. Although he may appear like an ordinary person, he remembers everything of his many, many past births. Whereas a common man cannot remember what he has done even a few hours before. Correct. If someone is asked what he did exactly at the same time one day earlier, it would be very difficult for a common man to answer immediately. Correct. So he would surely have to dredge his memory to recall what he was doing exactly at the same time one day before. क्या आप लोग बता सकते हो कल आप ठीक 12 बजे क्या कर रहे थे? It's so difficult. So he to remembers everybody's birth, not just his own. Everybody's birth he remembers. So one should not be misled by such meaningless, sorry. And yet men often dare claim to be God or Krishna. So one should not be misled by such meaningless claims. Then again, the Lord explains his prakriti or his form. Prakriti means nature as well as swarup or one's own form. The Lord says that he appears in his own body. He does not change his body. As the common living entity changes from one body to another, God does not change his body. So understood? The conditioned soul may have one kind of body in the present birth, but he has a different body in the next birth. In the material world, the living entity has no fixed body, but transmigrates from one body to another. Yes, we know this. The Lord, however, does not do so. Whenever he appears, he does so in the same original body by his internal potency. Yes, so Lord Krishna, Lord Ram, Lord Narsimha, they were all same body, no change. In other words, Krishna appears in this material world in his original eternal form with two hands holding a flute. He appears exactly in his eternal body uncontaminated by this material world. So material world means what? Materials. 5 materials से material world बना है. वो 5 material का वो body है ही नहीं. That is what we are trying to say. Although he appears in the same transcendental body and is Lord of the universe, it appears that he takes his birth like an ordinary living entity. And although his body does not deteriorate like a material body, it still appears that Lord Krishna grows from childhood to boyhood and from boyhood to youth. But astonishingly enough, he never gets ages beyond youth. Yes. यूथ के बाद वो एज नहीं होते हैं वो वहीं रहते हैं राइट हम जैसे बूढ़े हो जाते हैं वो बूढ़े ही नहीं होते राइट and so he lived it is said that Lord Krishna lived for 107 years so this is actually discovered by the archaeologists and everyone that how long did Lord Krishna live on earth. So the Krishna ka jo story hai. So it is said that he lived for 107 years, and in that 107 years also he used to look young only. He was youthful. He was in his youth. He did not become old. So he never ages beyond youth. At the time of the battle of Kurukshetra, he had many grandchildren at home, or in other words, he had sufficiently aged by material calculations. Still, he looked just like a young man, 20 or 25 years old. We never see a picture of Krishna in old age because he never grows old like us. Although he is the oldest person in the whole creation, past, present, and future. Neither his body nor his intelligence ever deteriorates or changes. Therefore, it is clear that in spite of his being in the material world, he is the same unborn, eternal form of bliss and knowledge, changeless in his transcendental body and intelligence. Yes. Factually, his appearance and disappearance are like the sun's rising, moving before us, and then disappearing from our eyesight. When the sun is out of sight, we think that the sun is set. And when the sun is before our eyes, we think that the sun is on the horizon. However, the sun is always in its fixed position, but owing to our defective, insufficient senses, we calculate the appearance and disappearance of the sun in the sky. And because Lord Krishna's appearance and disappearance are completely different from that of an ordinary, common living entity, it is evident that he is eternal, blissful knowledge by his internal potency, and he is never contaminated by material nature. So, material nature has a way to contaminate you by alluring you to false sense gratification, right? It doesn't happen with him. The Vedas also confirm that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is unborn, yet he still appears to take his birth in multi manifestations. Yes. So multi manifestations, matlab he can manifest himself into any kind of a human being. Even like Narsimha, he manifested himself to be a half lion, half because he wanted to kill Hiranyakashipu, and without failing Lord Brahma's boons, right? Lord Brahma had given him a boon that he will not get killed by a demon or even God. So how to kill him? So he manifested this avatar and he killed him, right? So he can do anything. You cannot escape. The Vedic supplementary literatures also confirm that even though the Lord appears to be taking his birth, he is still without change of body. Yes, it appears that he is taking birth, but it is the same. It is without change of body. Yeah. So what happens? He takes birth and he gets his spiritual body, right? He's not made of these five elements. In the Bhagavatam, he appears before his mother as Narayan with four hands and the decorations of the six kinds of full opulences. He appears in his original eternal form. Is His appearance in his original eternal form is his causeless mercy bestowed upon the living entities so that they can concentrate on the Supreme Lord as He is and not on mental concoctions or imaginations which the impersonalist wrongly thinks the Lord forms to be. Yes. वो अवतार लेते हैं वो अपीयर होते हैं so that people start believing in God. He has to give evidence that. Otherwise, people will always be in their mental speculation that अरे गॉड ऐसे होंगे गॉड वैसे होंगे या नहीं भी होंगे का क्या प्रूफ है, you know. The word Maya or Atma Maya refers to the Lord's causeless mercy according to the Vishwa Kosha dictionary. The Lord, so we had a dictionary also called Vishwa Kosha in those days. The Lord is conscious of all of his previous appearances and disappearances, but a common living entity forgets everything about his past body as soon as he gets another body. He is the Lord of all living entities because he performs wonderful and superhuman activities while he is on earth, while he is on this earth, right? It is all superhuman activities. Holding a Govardhan Parvat on one little finger. How is that even possible in material body? Therefore, the Lord is always the same absolute truth and is without differentiation between his form and self or between his quality and body. A question may now be raised as to why the God appears and disappears in this world. This is explained in the next verse. Yes. Let's move to the text 7. Whenever and wherever there is a decline in religious practice, yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata. Right? This is the shlok that we are reading right now. Abhyuthane abhyuthanmadharmasya tadatmanam srijanyaham. Srijamyaham. Right? Whenever and wherever there is a decline in religious practice, O descendant of Bharat, and a predominant rise of irreligion, at that time I descend myself. Let's read the purport. The word Srijami is significant herein. Srijami cannot be used in the sense of creation because, according to the previous verse, there is no creation of Lord's form of or body, since all the forms are eternally existent, right? They are existing from time immemorial, right? Therefore, Srijami means that the Lord manifests himself as he is. Although the Lord appears on schedule, namely at the end of the Dwapar Yuga of the 28th millennium of the 7th Manu in one day of Brahma. Okay, I'm going to repeat this because this is a lot of calculation. Although the Lord appears on schedule, namely, so he always appears in this schedule. Okay, what is that schedule? The schedule is end of Dwapar Yuga of the 28th millennium of the 7th Manu in one day of Brahma. Right? He has no obligation to adhere to such rules and regulations because he is completely free to act in many ways at his will. He therefore appears by his own will whenever there is a predominance of irreligiosity and a disappearance of true religion. Principles of religion are laid down in the Vedas, and any discrepancy in the matter of properly executing the rules of Vedas makes one irreligious. In the Bhagavatam, it is stated that such principles are the laws of the Lord. Yes. So Vedas are written by the Lord because Lord knows how to be. If you follow that, you will always remain happy. Yes. So he has written the law of happiness. Correct? Only the Lord can manufacture a system of religion. So he manufactured this system of religion so that we are able to follow it and in the end receive that happiness, experience that happiness. Yes. So the Vedas are also accepted as originally spoken by Lord himself to Brahma from within his heart. Therefore, the principles of dharma or religion are the direct orders of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Dharmam tu sakshad Bhagwat pranitam. These principles are clearly indicated throughout the Bhagavad Gita. The purpose of the Vedas is to establish such principles under the order of the Supreme Lord, and the Lord directly orders at the end of the Gita that the highest principle of religion is to surrender unto Him only and nothing more. The Vedic principles push one towards complete surrender unto Him, and whenever such principles are disturbed, are disturbed by the demoniac, the Lord appears. From the Bhagavatam, we understand that Lord Buddha is the incarnation of Krishna who appeared when materialism was rampant and materialists were using the pretext of the authority of the Vedas. Although there, so under the pretext of having having able to do Vedas properly or having to own Vedas, they used to make religious activities and everything very highly material. And then no, like for example अभी भी वैसा होता है कि आप 10,000 रुपीज दोगे तो ये यज्ञ करेंगे और फिर आपको अच्छा होगा, तो ये सारा चीज जो है ये सब गलत है। लोग उसको कमर्शलाइज कर दिया है, राइट? कोई भी मंदिर जाते हो तो इतने सारे शॉप्स होते हैं, इतने सारे ये होते हैं, बेचते हैं वो लोग कितनी सारी चीजें धर्म के नाम पे, है ना? तो ये सारा गलत है। Although there are certain restrictive rules and regulations regarding animal sacrifice for particular purposes in the Vedas, people of demonic tendency still took to animal sacrifice without reference to the Vedic principles. Yes. Now we will understand what is Vedic sacrifice, जो हम लोग बलि चढ़ाते हैं, किसी किसी रिलीजन में होता है, तो वो एग्जैक्टली exactly है क्या और कैसे होना चाहिए? Yes. Lord Buddha appeared in order to stop this nonsense and to establish the Vedic principles of non-violence. Therefore, each and every avatar or incarnation of the Lord has a particular mission, and they are all described in the revealed scriptures. No one should be accepted as an avatar unless he is referred to by scriptures. It is not a fact that the Lord appears only on Indian soil. He can manifest himself anywhere and everywhere. And whenever he desires to appear, and whenever he desires to appear. In each and every incarnation, he speaks as much about religion as can be understood by the particular people under their particular circumstances. But the mission is the same, to lead people to God consciousness and obedience to the principles of religion. Sometimes he descends personally, and sometimes he sends his bona fide representative in the form of his son or servant or himself in some disguised form. Yes. The principles of the Bhagavad Gita were spoken to Arjun and, for that matter, to other highly elevated persons because he was highly advanced compared to ordinary persons in other parts of the world. 2 plus 2 equals 4 is a mathematical principle that is true in the beginner's arithmetic class and in the advanced class as well. Still, there are higher and lower mathematics. In all incarnations of the Lord, therefore, the same principles are taught, but they appear to be higher and lower in varied circumstances. Correct? The higher principle of religion begin with acceptance of four orders and the four statuses of social life, as will be explained later. The whole purpose of the mission of incarnation is to arouse Krishna consciousness everywhere. Such consciousness is manifest and non manifest only under different circumstances. Yes. Let's end here with Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Let's do some Radha Jap. Radha, Shri Radha, Radha, Shri Radha, Radha, Shri Radha, Radha, Shri Radha.